Salam everybody!
Assalamu alaikum.
Today we have a really unique video because I'm interviewing my husband today. You guys know that he is a revert Muslim, and after everything that's been happening these last 100 days in Palestine, there have been countless people on social media that are becoming Muslim. And I think it would be interesting to hear from his perspective, being that he's been a Muslim now for 15 years. I want to ask him some specific questions about challenges that he's had being a new Muslim, how the journey has gone. If you want to hear his full story about how he became Muslim, we can link that in the description. But should we just get right into it?
Well, I must preface this by saying I did not consent.
What do you mean you
Did not consent to this video.
I basically volunteered him to do this.
You voluntold me.
I voluntold him.
All right.
But I know it's going to do well because
But if it helps anyone,
yeah,
then let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. So what aspects of Islam initially caught your attention when you were searching? Because there's a lot of people right now that are inspired by Muslims because of what's happening in Gaza. Mm-hmm. So what was your 15 years ago, before social media, really?
Yeah. Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulullah. For me, at the moment, because my shahada was very spontaneous. I had looked into the religion. I didn't have a plan, like I'm going to convert on this day or this. It was just the right moment, the right time, which was a beautiful setting. And I heard the adhan go, it brought me to tears. And then I watched the brothers pray. And for me, that was it. It was, because obviously, like I moved around a lot as a kid. Mm-hmm. So I don't have any friends that I've been friends with them since kindergarten, or we've been buddies for, 30 years. I don't have that, right? Yeah. So that sense of unity that I saw within the prayer itself, where you have the Imam was a 19-year-old Hafiz of the Quran, someone who had memorized the entire book. And because he had memorized the entire book, his knowledge of the book was more so. He was the most qualified to lead the prayer. Mm-hmm. Behind him, the elderly people, the black, white, brown, that really drew me at that moment was the unity of the Muslims.
It's really cool because Muslims, there's no specific race, ethnicity, culture, like anybody can be Muslim. Else. Yeah, anybody can be Muslim. And I think the common thing that's happening right now with everybody witnessing what's happening in Gaza is like the faith, the perseverance, and how everybody's come together for Gaza. So that's really cool that 15 years ago that's what you saw, what you witnessed, and you felt it in your heart. So reflecting on the past 15 years, what were the most significant challenges that you faced as a revert Muslim? Because I know, I'm not gonna go into the next question, but let me answer
the biggest challenges. Simply, I would try to keep this short because obviously there's going to be a lot of challenges. Mm-hmm. Firstly, is the challenge in dealing with your family and friends.
Yeah, that's number one.
That you've changed everything about your life. You don't drink, you don't party, you don't, hang out with the opposite gender. You don't celebrate, non-Muslim holidays. All of these sort of things. That was very difficult. Another one of the most difficult things for me was really finding a guide that could put me on a path to a better understanding of my religion, because as most Muslims and maybe non-Muslims know as well, there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of information, and everybody has a different view and a different
Everybody's got their own opinion.
Exactly. So
about what Islam is.
That was probably the biggest challenge for me, and acceptance within the Muslim community. I know a lot of people struggle with that because they go to the mosque and they don't really, nobody's pulling them and saying, hey, let's go and eat, let me tell me, blah, blah, blah. I forced myself upon the community at home, and they didn't have a choice. I was consistently showing up for the prayers 5 times a day. I went and spent 4 months abroad learning the religion as much as I could. I came back and I became the imam,
so those are, I think, those are the challenges, especially for people that have maybe become Muslim and not centering themselves around other Muslims.
Yeah, you gotta understand that Islam is for you. Forget about the other people. It's for you. So if my duty is to go to the mosque and pray, then I'm going, and I don't care if I'm accepted or not. Eventually, when people see that you're there and you're there consistently, that will definitely open the doors to much more conversation. But
amazing. Any specific special moments in these last 15 years that stand out in your journey that has a profound impact on your faith? Like any specific core memories, I guess you can say, that has really solidified your decision to become a Muslim?
There's a lot. Whether that's going for Umrah with my family, whether that's going to Masjid al-Aqsa with my family, whether that's going to the Tongi Ijtima in Bangladesh, whether that's traveling around through Pakistan, traveling around through Malaysia, Bangladesh, Turkey, going to Syria.
I think all of those things have a commonality in that you saw Muslims a lot of Muslims in those spaces.
But it was, for me, it was more of the religious significance. So Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Palestine, these were all like humanitarian trips.
Yeah.
Right? And so being able to understand that it's not just I'm going because I want to, I'm going because my faith obligates me to help people when I'm in a position to help others. So that was very beautiful for me. Yes, going for Umrah, this is what as Muslims we do, so that's very impactful. You know, bringing my children into this world, knowing that my faith is something that will protect and preserve them and help them with their challenges in life, knowing that they will be, you know, they will be protected from a lot of the things that I've went through in my life and many other people go through. I mean, that's a very loaded question, but I mean, my marriage, I mean, there's so many things.
So one thing that I've heard a lot of reverts lately talk about is, especially now with social media, is the fact that other Muslims push them away from Islam, even though they've become Muslim, that the haram police, I guess you could say. Is that something that you've had to deal with? And how did you deal with that?
Well, you know the answer to that question.
I do.
Absolutely 100%. And being on social media, obviously you're going to be attacked in every direction you can possibly imagine. Yeah. So luckily for me is that my iman and my faith was built long before social media happened for us.
And you've got thick skin.
I have thick skin, but the fact that I'm well connected with scholars. As we got a new addition to the video.
Little intermission. Baby woke up from his nap, so he's joining us now for this video.
So yeah, in regards to that question, just to kind of get back on it, is that I have spent 15 years very closely connected with scholars who have helped me, you know, shape the understanding of Islam that I have today, alhamdulillah. So when I see people comment and I see people attack me for something that I might say, I know the proofs and the evidences of when I say something, whereas a lot of people don't. A lot of people will just say something because they heard somebody say it. They can't tell you where it came from. They can't tell you whose views or opinions these are. So I know that most of the time, that anybody who's educated on Islam will never argue with you in a comment section. That's one thing to note, is that if a person is attacking you or arguing with you, the chances are they are not educated about the religion of Islam, and you don't let it get to you like that. Don't let it get to you.
Have you faced any misconceptions or stereotypes about being a white Muslim, and how do you address that?
Absolutely. Especially during the whole ISIS fiasco, is that a lot of white revert Muslims were going to Syria to join, you know, in Iraq, were going to join this particular group. So you do get that preconceived notion that, oh, if you're white and you've got a beard and you're a Muslim, then you're an extremist, and people are worried that you're going to be a terrorist and that sort of stuff. I mean, I gave a speech 9 years ago back home, and it was directly attacking, you know, said particular group ideology, you know, and standing up for myself and other people, that, you know, we are not associated with these people. Us as Muslims are not associated with this particular group or these particular groups. The scholars have announced around the world, you know, that these people are not speaking on behalf of Islam, and they have no, you know, real understanding of the true faith of Islam.
So have people also said the opposite? Have people looked at you and they're like, this guy's white, he probably doesn't know anything about 100%. Islam.
Probably more so than...
And people are shocked when he opens his mouth, because they're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, this guy, what?
I remember one instance that comes to my mind, is that we were I was with a bunch of Muslims in a mosque, a bunch of, you know, that I had known, the Jamaat guys and whatnot. And so I got pushed to lead the salah by the imam of the mosque, and when I had a turban and you know, a thobe, and my friend was talking with someone else, and they're like, and the person's like, oh yeah, just, you know, he's gonna lead the prayer, just letting a white guy lead the prayer, whatever.
Oh wow.
And
see the stereotypes.
So I led the salah, and then I guess because of my tilawat or whatever, my recitation, the guy was shocked. And then my friend leaned over to him and he said, he's also the imam in the next town over. Wow. Like, he leads the prayer over there.
That's crazy.
And so the guy kind of took his foot out of his mouth, and he was shocked. So definitely more so is that people don't take you as seriously, especially if I wear a ball cap or I wear this, not as seriously. If I wear a cap and a thobe, oh, sheikh, you know, you get much more respect based upon, you know, your attire, which is quite sad.
Okay, last question. This is a good one. is, would you ever go back to being non-Muslim? Like, is it like, would you ever?
I mean, that is in the hands of God, not my own. No, because I've walked on both sides of the fence. I've seen the worst that one side has to have, and I've seen that the best that it has to offer. When I know and I have sincere faith that Islam is truth, it is rooted in truth, it is rooted in fact. People may argue that point, but again, what are you arguing? On what basis are you arguing? Are you arguing because you understand better than myself, the religion of Islam, or better than the scholars? If that's the case, let's have a sit down and have a discussion about it. But for me, absolutely not, because Islam literally came to protect and preserve the family unit. It came to protect and preserve righteousness, upright character, morality, the rule of law, all of these things. So if you remove that, then you're left with the degrading societies that exist in the world. And the interesting point is that you may have many Muslim failed states around the world, but their morality is not failed.
Yeah.
Whereas in the West, the morality, the moral decay of society exists at such a prevalent level that even the people who aren't Muslim are like, damn, like this is something else.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, hell no.
Any closing remarks? Because like it's a big deal. It's a big deal that you've now been Muslim for 15 years. That's like pretty much half my life. That's crazy to think that, eh?
Closing remarks, I would say that, look, don't judge a book by its cover. You cannot judge a person based upon what you see. You have to judge them based upon the conduct of their character. Just like the religion of Islam, if you're just looking on TV or you're listening to what someone might say about it, go to the educated people and listen to them speak about it. Our trip with Husna last weekend, when the Imam, the scholar, is sitting there and he's speaking, and it brings you to tears because he's speaking about humanity and the love of humanity and taking care of people. Not just Muslim, it's our responsibility to take care of everyone. That when you really step back and you have an unbiased approach to it, even if you don't become a Muslim, you will certainly take some benefit from it. And again, you cannot understand anything with a closed mind. So open your heart, open your mind. If you truly want to know, or if you're going to say anything negative about Islam, be careful, because I guarantee you that someone as uneducated as myself could absolutely destroy your comment and make you look very foolish. So think of it as you don't want to be embarrassed, therefore you're going to research these things before you make such a statement and post to social media.
Speaking about Husna, I just want to put this in there that after we had that vacation, Muslim only vacation, the workers that were at the resort were non-Muslim, and one employee actually embraced Islam while we were there. That's huge, because of the conduct he saw within the Muslim community. Because he was like, wow, the fact that these people can like have an amazing time with no alcohol, and just the way that the Muslims carried themselves, community aspect. And on top of that, all the employees in the entire resort were like, I don't want things to go back the same. They didn't want the alcohol to come back. They didn't want, they loved the atmosphere. So that says a lot. Absolutely. And as like somebody that's now been Muslim for 15 years, being in that resort and in that experience was probably really cool. Yeah, absolutely. It really helps to show what Islam is when you actually see it in practice. All right, guys, that ends the journey of faith over the last 15 years, which was very short, but good questions. I hope they help. And if you guys have any more questions that you want to ask him, you can feel free to leave that in the comments, and he can respond to those as well. All right, guys, take care. Bye for now. Assalamu alaikum.